And Parade Marshal Kathy Hawk leads the field out onto the track for race 1, exacted trifecta daily double wagering. There are no changes. Number 1 is Our Calico, owned by Dana Taylor, the driver Jeff Fout. The 2 is Jim Clarkson's Pellets and Mark Winters. Number 3, Bam She's Out, owned by Charles Park with Elliott Deaton. 4, JMI's First by Clyde, owned by Joseph and Timothy Ignarski, the driver Jeff Neusonger. 5 is Sweet Steel Gray, owned by Bowles, Perrin, and Haddon. Chip Noble drives. 6 is Tucson Winds, owned by Dennis Pohl with Dave Hawk. 7 is Susie's Legacy, owned by Stephen Watkins, the driver Bob Harper. 8 is Forever Dawn Avenue, owned by Willard Morgan and the Claude Gendro stable. Terry Morgan drives. 9 is Royal Alberta, owned by Robert Del Rimple with Joe Adamski. And off the second tier is the 10. She's a Sodbuster, owned by Sonny Levesque with Jack Franklin. Post time now in just 3 minutes. You have just 3 minutes until post. In the backstretch, and there they go. And they're off. Our Calico, JMI's First by Clyde. 3 wide, Tucson Winds. 4 wide is Forever Dawn Avenue. Then we have Pellets, who comes away in 5th position. 3 in front of She's a Sodbuster. Next in line is Bam She's Out, followed by Sweet Steel Gray, Susie's Legacy, and Royal Alberta is last. Moving around to head stretch, and Forever Dawn Avenue makes the lead. It's Forever Dawn Avenue, 3 parts of a length. JMI's First by Clyde drives up to challenge, followed by Our Calico in 3rd, and Pellets is 4th to a quarter in 28 and 1. Passing the stands for the first time, and JMI's First by Clyde and Jeff Neusonger draw out to lead by a length and a half now, leaving Forever Dawn Avenue in the pocket racing in 2nd. 2 back, Our Calico is 3rd, Pellets is 4th. Tucson Winds comes to the outside in 5th. She's a Sodbuster, shuffle back to 6th. Following cover is Bam She's Out, as is Sweet Steel Gray, as they race around the turn on their way to halftime. Up top, it's JMI's First by Clyde leading the way. JMI's First by Clyde, Forever Dawn Avenue, Our Calico, Pellets, first over Tucson Winds to a half in 58 and 2. Rounding the turn into the backstretch, and it's 7 to 1 shot. JMI's First by Clyde on the engine here. Leads Forever Dawn Avenue by a length and a half. Our Calico with clearance in 3rd. Tucson Winds tries to get into gear. 3 off the pace. First over on the outside, 4th. Pellets from the rail is hemmed in 5th. Bam She's Out. Loops off cover on the far outside, 6th. Looking to follow that move is Sweet Steel Gray. Then it's She's a Sodbuster, followed by Susie's Legacy and Royal Alberta. 8 lengths cover the field in 128 and 3. Moving around to head stretch. And JMI's First by Clyde widens the advantage to 2 lengths now. Our Calico moves into 2nd, followed by Pellets in 3rd. Forever Dawn Avenue came off the rail but retreated there as they turn into the stretch. And it's JMI's First by Clyde under urging. Our Calico takes aim on the leader in 2nd. 3 farther back to She's a Sodbuster and Pellets. Our Calico draws off late. Pellets closing well along with She's a Sodbuster. It's Our Calico in front. Pellets to go 2nd. She's a Sodbuster 3rd. Season, winning in 158 and 2. A 5-year-old bay mare by Look Sharp out of Cali You Are Special by Steady Special. Owned by Dana Taylor, trained by Dana Taylor, driven to victory by Jeff Fout. Steel Gray was 6th. Tucson Winds was 10th. Susie's Legacy 7th. Forever Dawn Avenue. 1 is World's Best, owned by James Goodman with Jamie Dunlap. The 2 is Jenna's Great Lady, owned by Terry Lee Tackett, the driver Chip Noble. Number 3 is Camnesia. She's owned by Jeffrey Cole and driven by Elliott Deaton. Next, the 4 is Sweet Sugar Baby, owned by Richard and Deborah Clausen, Dallas Miller. 5 is Tucson Smitty, owned by Linda K. Smith with Jack Daly. 6, Truly Savannah, owned by Everett Newton, the driver Jeff Fout. The 7 is Sauternes, owned by Kempf and Keith, Dave Hawk. And number 8 is Ms. Mulan, owned by Harold Breitenbach, the driver Greg Grismore. Now 4 minutes. There they go. And they're off, making a break. Number 7, Sauternaise, is far back trailing the field. And World's Best grabs an easy early lead. Jenna's Great Lady drops into the pocket second, 2 back to Camnesia, followed next by Sweet Sugar Baby. Then it's Tucson Smitty. Next in line is Truly Savannah, followed by Ms. Mulan, and the distant trailer is Sauternaise. And with the exception of Sauternaise, they're in lineup order and spread out by 15 lengths as they pace ahead stretch, with World's Best leading the way. World's Best from Jenna's Great Lady and Camnesia, they're behind the quarter in 28 and 4. In front of the stands for the first time, it's Longshot, World's Best, and Jamie Dunlap on top by a margin of 2. Tracked by Jenna's Great Lady in second, span of 3, Camnesia is third. Next in line, we have Sweet Sugar Baby, who tightens down in fourth, and now comes to the outside. Tucson Smitty will follow cover in fifth position, 4 off the lead. Then 2.5 more to Truly Savannah, Ms. Mulan, and far back now pacing is Sauternaise. Rounding the turn on their way to halftime, World's Best is leading the way. World's Best, Jenna's Great Lady is second, followed by Sweet Sugar Baby on the outside, who has advanced into third. Camnesia is racing in fourth. Tucson Smitty, 4 off the pace, second over in fifth position. Then 2 more to Truly Savannah and Ms. Mulan. Halftime in 1 minute flat. 3/8 of a mile remaining as they head down the backstretch. It's World's Best still on top. World's Best by 2. Jenna's Great Lady second. Sweet Sugar Baby being called on for more. Camnesia tightens down, and Tucson Smitty is already circling off cover, 3 wide and gaining ground. 2.5 more to Truly Savannah, who starts to pick it up, and then Ms. Mulan is the practical trailer, 5 off the lead. 1:29 flat for 3/4, and World's Best remains unchallenged. It's World's Best by 2. Jenna's Great Lady been sitting the pocket trip the whole way, followed by Camnesia, 3 wide Tucson Smitty, and Sweet Sugar Baby could not go on and backs up between horses. They're in the stretch. World's Best on the lead. Jenna's Great Lady is out for the drive, and here comes Camnesia way down the rail. Far outside is Tucson Smitty. World's Best has been collared. Inside Camnesia, outside Jenna's Great Lady. Those two hit the wire together, and it was Camnesia to win it. Jenna's Great Lady and World's Best third. Circle is Camnesia. It's her second win on the season, 158 and 3. That's a lifetime best for the 3-year-old Bay Filly by Cam's Magic Trick at a Fire Lake by Albatross and by Jeffrey Cole at Piqua, Ohio. John Newbery, the winning trainer. Elliott Deaton is the winning driver. Second race rundown, World's Best was third, Jenna's Great Lady second, Camnesia the winner, Sweet Sugar Baby sixth, Tucson Smitty fourth, Truly Savannah was seventh, Sauternaise was eighth, and Ms. Mulan was fifth. From the top down, 3, 2, 1, 6, 4, 7, 8 into 5. The upcoming third race is 13 minutes away at 7:48. There's exacted superfecta wagering. The starting gate rolls for race number 3. Third race field in the backstretch, getting set for the start. And they're off. They were scattered at the beginning. Pipe Creek Robin was well off the gate, as was Lake Hills Lisa as a result, and Streak of Spice was about 3 off the lineup. As they enter the far turn the first time, Martinsville Girl from the outside takes the lead. JV's Principessa up close second. It's a length and a half back to Rosie Scooter, who settles in third position. 2 back to Debonair, followed by Carlin Joe. Then it's a gap of 2.5 more, and we have Pipe Creek Robin just in front of Lake Hills Lisa. And then it's another 2 more to Wenner Marianne, who's third last to Alice Aldis, and Streak of Spice is gapped out trailing. They're by the quarter in a fast 27 and 4 in front of the stands for the first time. And Martinsville Girl and Dallas Miller, they're calling the shots here, leading it by by 2. From JV's Principessa, the long shot is drafting along in second. Rosie Scooter from the inside third. Carlin Joe first to move on the outside fourth. Debonair back to fifth. Following cover, Lake Hills Lisa on the outside is sixth. Followed by Pipe Creek Robin, Wenner Marianne, Alice Aldis, and Streak of Spice. 15 lengths separate front to back as they roll to halftime. Martinsville Girl is on the lead, joined by Carlin Joe on the outside second. 58 seconds for the half. Along the rail, JV's Principessa racing in third. Lake Hills Lisa continues to gain ground, just about catching the cover on the outside. 2.5 off the lead in fourth. Rosie Scooter now locked in fifth. Third over in sixth is Wenner Marianne. She's got 4 to make up. Then we come down to Debonair, who has clearance to move out. 2 back to Pipe Creek Robin. Alice Aldis is to her outside, and 5 lengths back to Streak of Spice, who remains well off the pace. They're at the 3/4, and Carlin Joe powers into the lead, leaving Martinsville Girl behind, 1:27.1. Moving ahead stretch, it's Carlin Joe on top by 3 lengths. Martinsville Girl is racing in second. Up on the outside, Lake Hills Lisa is third, followed by JV's Principessa. Wenner Marianne is under the whip, but has a long way to come as they turn into the stretch. And Todd Jones starts to urge on Carlin Joe, but she leads it by 4 now. Martinsville Girl outside Lake Hills Lisa, followed by Wenner Marianne, but the third race belongs to Carlin Joe, winning it by 4. Then it was Martinsville Girl second, Lake Hills Lisa third, and Wenner Marianne was fourth, 1:56.4. It's her third win on the season. She's a 9-year-old bay mare by Happy Paysack out of Mary of Scotland by Keystone Posa, owned by the Smackdown stable, trained by Brett Landis. 1:56.4, that ties her lifetime best. Carlin Joe in the third, welcoming everyone with the Acacia Fraternity Night at the races to Scioto Downs. Field. Number 1 is Larry Cleland's Noble Surfer, the driver Keith Haynes. The 2 is Sam Tango, owned by Charles and Jones, Jeff Fout. Number 3, Pediatrician, owned by Morgan, and Holland, Dave Hawk. Number 4 is Needs a Guy, owned by Dean Davis and Brenda Sugg, Kurt Sugg drives. 5, Blessed Sabra, owned by Jack Shearer with Chip Noble. 6 is Shut Up and Kiss Me, owned by Paul Gillenwater with Todd Jones. The 7 is Gwynny Can Do. She's owned by James Davis and Andrew King, Jack Daly, and from Post 8, it's I'm a Rough One, owned by Jack and David Hufford with Del S. Miller. Post time now in 4 minutes, just 4 minutes to post. Sophomore Philly Pacers are set to go. And they're off. Making a break was the 2, Sam Tango, who's far back trailing the field. And from the outside, Gwynny Can Do goes out quickly for the lead. Needs a Guy is forwardly placed, followed by Noble Surfer at the rail. Then it's a gap of 2 farther back to Pediatrician, who comes away 5 off the lead in fourth. Just in front, a Blessed Sabra. Then it's Shut Up and Kiss Me, followed by I'm a Rough One. And far back, being pulled up out of the race, is the 2, Sam Tango. Sam Tango looks to be pulled up out of the race. They pace past the opening quarter, and they report they're in 27-2. In front of the stands for the first time, it's Gwynny Can Do, cutting the early fractions here. Leads it by 3 lengths. From Needs a Guy in second, Noble Surfer is racing in third. 2 farther back to Pediatrician, who remains in fourth position. Then we have Blessed Sabra in fifth. Shut Up and Kiss Me is hustled to the outside in sixth, looking for cover. And following that move is I'm a Rough One. Racing around the clubhouse turn, it's Gwynny Can Do at 19-1. Longest shot on the board. Gwynny Can Do is calling the shots in here. Needs a Guy draws a closer second. Noble Surfer third. Pediatrician a very patient fourth. Shut Up and Kiss Me still looking for that cover on the outside fifth. And then we have Blessed Sabra and I'm a Rough One. 58 seconds flat for the half. Racing down the backstretch, it's Gwynny Can Do, who remains unchallenged on the lead. Gwynny Can Do by 2. Needs a Guy in the pocket second. Noble Surfer gaining ground first over on the outside third. Now racing second over is Shut Up and Kiss Me, 3 off the lead in fourth. Pediatrician now locked in 5th at the rail, followed by I'm a Rough One, and Blessed Sabra is 7th as they reach the 3 quarters in 1:27.3. Moving around to the top of the stretch. And Gwynny Can Do comes to terms with Noble Surfer, who pokes a nose in front. Shut Up and Kiss Me is rallying 3 wide. Needs a Guy comes to the outside, but will need racing room. Followed by Pediatrician, who finally comes off the cones. And I'm a Rough One on the far outside, and they're in the stretch. Noble Surfer leads 3 parts of a length. Shut Up and Kiss Me is bearing down Pediatrician, late pace center of the course. Shut Up and Kiss Me leads it. Here's Pediatrician on the outside, tight. Between Pediatrician and Shut Up and Kiss Me was tight for 3rd, Noble Surfer or Blessed Sabra. 40. Back to the winner's circle comes number 3, Pediatrician. She's a 3-year-old bay filly by Noble Land Sam out of Varsity 7 by Falcon Almahurst, owned by the partnership of Morgan, and Holland of Ohio and Illinois. Virgil Morgan Jr. is the winning trainer, and David Hawk is the winning driver. Pediatrician scores here in 1:58.1. Albone with Jack Franklin driving. 2 is Willie is a filly. She's owned by William Spangler. The driver is Del S. Miller. 3 is Jack's Jill, owned by Kroner and Gagel. Charlie Schoonover drives. 4 is Juanita Jean Tupp, owned by Jan McPherson with Chip Noble. 5 is Kelly Rogers' Noble Sis and Greg Grismore. 6, Miss Mandy's Girl, is owned by Jones, and Kirkpatrick, Jeff Nysonger. 7 is Tweedledee, owned by Stanley Swango III. Bob Harper drives. 8 is Sammy Big Girl, owned by Bob and Paul Ann Sidley with Dave Hawk. 9 is Crown Time Sandy, owned by Esther Crownover, the driver Earl Owings. And off the second tier is the 10 3D's Pocket. She's owned by Michael Fagan and Edward Fagan with Ron Steck at the helm. Post time, 4 minutes. Field of 10, Pacers lining up for the 5th. And they're off. Crown Time Sandy was about 6 lengths off the gate. Frugie's Falcon goes out for the lead. From between horses, Juanita Jean Tupp is prominent. 3 wide is Noble Sis. Then we have Jack's Jill, who settles into 4th position, just in front of Tweedledee on the outside 5th. Next is 3D's Pocket, followed by Willie is a filly. And then we come down to Miss Mandy's Girl, Sammy Big Girl, and Crown Time Sandy brings up the rear, 12 lengths off the lead. Pace setter is Frugie's Falcon and Jack Franklin to the opening quarter. It's Frugie's Falcon on top in 28-2. Passing the stands, long shot Frugie's Falcon is now overtaken by Tweedledee. Bob Harper and Tweedledee clear the top. Frugie's Falcon concedes the lead to race in second. It's 2 farther back to Juanita Jean Tupp in third. Another 2 more. And Noble Sis is 4th to the inside of Jack's Jill, who's first over, gaining ground rapidly from 5th. 3D's Pocket picks up the cover in 6th. Gapped out at the rail in 7th as Willie is a filly. And just in front of that one, going off stride, was the 5 Noble Sis. And Willie is a filly was forced to duck down to the inside. Racing around the turn on their way to halftime, Tweedledee is the leader. Tweedledee from Frugie's Falcon. First over is Jack's Jill in 1 minute flat. Along the rail racing in 4th position is Juanita Jean Tupp. She's hemmed in 3 from the front. 3D's Pocket on the outside is trying to catch the cover in 5th position. Third over, we come to Sammy Big Girl. Next in line is Miss Mandy's Girl to the outside of Willie is a filly, then 2 farther back to Crown Time Sandy and Noble Sis. They're at the 3 quarters, and leading the way it's Tweedledee. Tweedledee by a length. Jack's Jill begins to relent on the outside second, and circling up 3 wide with a strong move is Sammy Big Girl. Frugie's Falcon at the rail, 1:29.1. Moving to head stretch, Tweedledee has the lead by a length. Sammy Big Girl looks to be the challenger on the outside second. 3 farther back to Frugie's Falcon. Jack's Jill, 3 wide, Miss Mandy's Girl, and they're in the stretch. Tweedledee on top by a length. Closing on the outside, Sammy Big Girl second. 3 back, Miss Mandy's Girl is third. But Tweedledee is game, and Sammy Big Girl can't get to her. It's Tweedledee to win it. Sammy Big Girl and Miss Mandy's Girl third. Tweedledee scores her third victory of the season, winning here in 1:58.1. That's a lifetime best for the 3-year-old bay filly by Towner's Big Guy out of Try My Design by Chairman of the Board, owned by Stanley Swango III, trained by Jim Arledge, and driven to victory by Bob Harper. This race sponsored by the Ohio Selected Jug Sale. Here they are in the post parade. Number 1 is Heart of a Hero, owned by Wiley Lyons Jr. with Jack Franklin. 2 is Barbara Noble Lady, owned by Ira Kreitzer with Chip Noble. 3 is Tomboy Betty, owned by Mirelle Moore with Tony Rose. 4, Extravagant Sabra, owned by Dean Davis and Brenda Sugg, Kurt Sugg the driver. 5, Gem Quality, owned by Parker, Briley, Spracklin, and Green, Jim Daly. For post 6, it's April Time Kim, owned by Thomas Up the Grove Sr., Jeff Nysonger in the bike. 7, Sherry Myers, Noble Rita, and Bob Harper. And the 8 is Little Redneck, owned by Gary Massajuski with Rick Heitman. 4 minutes. They're all on gate, lined up, ready for the start of the 6th. And they're off. Barbara Noble Lady from between horses, pressed from the inside by Heart of a Hero. Gem Quality ducks in third. A gap of 2 lengths farther back, and we have Tomboy Betty, who's a length and a half clear of Extravagant Sabra. Then 2.5 more to the outsiders. April Time Kim, Little Redneck, and Noble Rita is last. Moving around to head stretch for the first time, and Barbara Noble Lady is on the lead. On top by 2 lengths from Heart of a Hero in second. 2.5 back to Gem Quality in third. Tomboy Betty is fourth, followed by Extravagant Sabra, and they're by the opening quarter in 28-2. In front of the stands for the first time, and making the pace, it's Barbara Noble Lady and Chip Noble. They're on top by 2 lengths. Tracked by Longshot Heart of a Hero in second. 2 back Gem Quality is third. Tomboy Betty is brought to the outside fourth. Extravagant Sabra stays in fifth. Picking up the cover is Noble Rita. Now third over, and rolling up is Little Redneck, leaving the trailer April Time Kim. Rounding the turn on their way to halftime, Barbara Noble Lady is leading the way. Barbara Noble Lady from Heart of a Hero in second. Tomboy Betty first over on the outside third. Gem Quality is pinned down to the cones in fourth. Second over on the outside, Noble Rita is 3 off the pace in fifth. Then it's Extravagant Sabra. Third over, Little Redneck. April Time Kim trails to a half in 1 minute flat. Racing down the backstretch with 3/8 of a mile remaining, and it's still Barbara Noble Lady on the lead. Tomboy Betty to the outside of Heart of a Hero. They're second and third. Second over on the outside, Noble Rita continues to gain ground in fourth position, and now looks to circle up 3 wide as they enter the far turn. Then it's Gem Quality, Little Redneck, Extravagant Sabra, and April Time Kim in 1:28-3. Moving around ahead stretch, and Barbara Noble Lady remains unchallenged on the lead. Heart of a Hero is second. Stalled on the outside, Tomboy Betty. Noble Rita came up flat. Gem Quality at the rail, and they turn into the stretch. And it's Barbara Noble Lady still on top by 2 lengths. Heart of a Hero is trying to close. Late pace Gem Quality at the rail, but it's Barbara Noble Lady. Barbara Noble Lady goes on to score. Getting up for second was Gem Quality with Heart of a Hero third. Last half at 57-1. She's a 4-year-old bay mare by Noble Ann Sam out of Ira's Girl by Armbra Roger, owned by Ira Kreitzer, the trainer of West Alexandria, Ohio, and driven to victory by Chip Noble. 2.5 exacted, 24.80. Try 251, 189.20. And in the first pick 3 of 3 correct, $68.40. Number 1 is KF Pro's Baby, owned by Kaufman and Metters, Jamie Dunlap. 3 is Express Lane 2, owned by Thomas Lane with Chip Noble. 3 is Tracy Chimes, under lease to Frederick Fruey, Ryan Holton drives. 4 is Look Beth, owned by Kovac and Parker, Rick Heitman. 5 Dasher's Girl, owned by Shakari Patel with Del S. Miller. 6 Dominique D, owned by Sarah Hatcher with Larry Landon. From post 7, it's Come On Scarlet, owned by Abbott and Summers, Joe Adamski. 8 is Cam and Sam's Trick, owned by Trish Bishler with Dave Hawk. 9-horse Whispering Winds owned by Josh Green and Lamar Spracklin, Elliott Deaton. And the 10 is Hopalong Cassie owned by Joe Wilson with Greg Rismore now 4 minutes. In the backstretch, far back the 9 Whispering Winds. And they're off. Dasher's Girl went off stride. Dasher's Girl is on a break. It's Look Beth pointed straight for the front. Tracy Chimes will drop in second, followed by KF Pro's Baby third. Cam and Sam's Trick is driving up on the outside into fourth. Express Lane 2 from the inside is fifth. A length and a half clear of Come On Scarlet in sixth position. Then a gap of 5 to Dominique D. 2.5 more to Whispering Winds. Also making a miscue is Hopalong Cassie. And Dasher's Girl is way out wide, passing that one. And they're by the opening quarter in 27-4. Passing the stands for the first time. Up top, it's Tracy Chimes. Tracy Chimes is on top by a length and a half. Tracked by Look Beth in second. Cam and Sam's Trick is racing in third. Then we gap out 2.5 more to KF Pro's Baby in fourth. Next in line is Express Lane 2, followed by Come On Scarlet, Dominique D, Whispering Winds, and Dasher's Girl looks to rush up on the outside. The distant trailer is Hopalong Cassie. Rounding the turn on their way to halftime, it's Tracy Chimes leading the way. Tracy Chimes extends the lead to 2 lengths now from Look Beth in second. Cam and Sam's Trick is third. KF Pro's Baby is 6 off the pace racing in fourth. Come On Scarlet is stalled between horses in fifth. Dasher's Girl tries to come on from 3 wide, followed by Express Lane 2, Dominique D, and Whispering Winds. Halftime 59-3. 31-4 in the second split, and they have 5/16 remaining as they head for the far turn. It's Tracy Chimes. Led from the start, Tracy Chimes leads it by a length and a half. From Look Beth in second, Cam and Sam's Trick at the rail is third. Come On Scarlet is clogging the outer tier on the outside fourth, and Dasher's Girl has been caught 3 wide for much of the third quarter, 129-4. Moving around to head stretch, and Tracy Chimes is in front by 2.5. Look Beth second, Cam and Sam's Trick is third. Come On Scarlet is stalled on the outside fourth, and they're in the stretch. And this one is Tracy Chimes. Tracy Chimes leads it by 3. Look Beth along the inside. Late pace, Cam and Sam's Trick. And Come On Scarlet is still there. But Tracy Chimes trying to sweep this series 3 straight. Tight for second. Look Beth or Come On Scarlet. Tracy Chimes, 3 for 3 this season with this mile in 1:59.2. A 4-year-old brown mare by Noble Land Sam out of Sunny Bay by Puppet under lease to Frederick Fruey of Nashport, Ohio, trained and driven by Ryan Holton. Number 1 is Beep Beep Zip Tang, owned by Nina Sams with Jack Daly. 2 is Jill's Flight, owned by Connie Messler with Chip Noble the driver. Number 3 is Our Sleepin' Beauty, under lease to the Darby's Edge stable with Dave Hawk. 4 is Chairman's Tailor, owned by Ron Newton, and driven by Elliott Deaton. 5, Terramino, owned by Jeff Dennis, Jeff Fout. 6, Cam Clipper, is owned by Charles and Jenkins, Keith Cash Jr. 7, I'm Your Huckleberry, owned by Conklin and Taylor, Tom Hall. The 8 is Sassy Sarah Lee. She's owned by Timothy Lee with Bob Harper. The 9 is out, post time in 4 minutes. Pacers taking their slots behind the starting gate, and they're ready for a start. And they're away and pacing. Beep Beep Zip Tang from the inside left well, Terramina from the center, and there's Sassy Sarah Lee from the far outside. Jill's Flight races 3 off the early pace in 4th position. Our Sleepin' Beauty will duck in 5th. 2 in front of Chairman's Tailor, 2 more to Cam Clipper, and the early trailer is I'm Your Huckleberry. Racing to head stretch for the first time. Taramina slugs it out early with Beep Beep Zip Tang. They're a length and a half clear of Sassy Sara Lee, who dropped in third, followed by Jill's Flight, Our Sleepin' Beauty, and Chairman's Taylor, opening up in a quick 27-3. Passing the stands for the first time, and Taramina wins a hard-fought battle for the lead, clears off, and is on top by a length and a quarter. Beep Beep Zip Tang right there, nose to helmet in second. It's too far back to Sassy Sara Lee in third. Jill's Flight from the inside fourth. Our Sleepin' Beauty starts to pick it up from fifth. Chairman's Taylor follows that move in sixth, and then it's 3 lengths farther back to Cam Clipper, and I'm Your Huckleberry is last. Rounding the turn on their way to halftime. Up top, it's Taramina. Taramina, Beep Beep Zip Tang. First over, rapidly gaining ground is Our Sleepin' Beauty through a half in 57-2. Along the rail, Sassy Sara Lee is now a covered up fourth as Chairman's Taylor continues to move on the outside, fifth now into fourth. 2.5 more to the pair of Cam Clipper and Jill's Flight, and 3 more to an outclassed I'm Your Huckleberry. They're approaching the 3/4, and Our Sleepin' Beauty is trying to wear down Taramina, who fights right back and regains the lead. Beep Beep Zip Tang just in behind, races in third, followed by Chairman's Taylor and Sassy Sara Lee 3/4 in 1:26-1. Moving around to head stretch, and Taramina draws out again by a length and a quarter. Beep Beep Zip Tang just in behind. Our Sleepin' Beauty begins to back up between horses. 3 wide, Chairman's Taylor and Sassy Sara Lee is way down the rail. They're in the stretch, and Taramina is under urging. Here comes Beep Beep Zip Tang out of the pocket, followed by Sassy Sara Lee. Chairman's Taylor center of the course. It's Taramina, Beep Beep Zip Tang. Taramina desperate. Taramina wins it. Beep Beep Zip Tang and Chairman's Taylor third, 156. In the winner's circle is 5 Taramina. She's now 1 for 1 on the season with this win in 156. Taramina is a 7-year-old bay mare by Tough Sir out of Taborine by Tabor Lobel, owned and trained by Jeff Dennis of Wilmington, Ohio. That's a driving double tonight for Jeff Fout. 5-1 exact, 85.60. Try 5-1-4, 5-14-60, and here's your rundown. Beep Beep Zip Tang was second. Jill's Flight fourth. Our Sleepin' Beauty was seventh. Chairman's Taylor third. Here's a look at the field. Number 1 is Wakeshire Willow, owned by Carol and Radliff. Jeff Fout, the driver. The 2 is Perfect Model. She's owned by Dan Russo and driven by Todd Jones. 3 is She Deals 2, owned by William Cantrell with Elliot Deaton. 4, Bunny Wabbit is owned by Richard Shively. Bob Harper drives. Next is the 5, Brazen Brenda by Jennifer Peters with Joe Adamski. 6, Bob Colley's Serena Falcon and Jeff Neisanger. 7 is San My Sage, owned by Sage Sanders with Del S. Miller. Lady Bedard is the 8, owned by Noah Stover with Chip Noble, and the 9 is Noble Land Sarah, owned by Mark and Matt Rowe with Dave Hawk. 4 minutes until post. Is moving through the backstretch, and there they go. And they're off. The inside pair leave. Wakeshire Willow, Perfect Model from alongside. San My Sage looks to tuck in third. Up alongside of her is Noble Land Sarah, 3 off the pace in fourth. Bunny Wabbit comes away in fifth. Then it's 2 farther back to She Deals 2. 2.5 more to Brazen Brenda, followed by Lady Bedard to the outside of the trailer, Serena Falcon. Moving to head stretch for the first time, and Wakeshire Willow is on the lead. Wakeshire Willow from Perfect Model second, San My Sage is third, followed next by Noble Land Sarah in fourth, and the opening quarter was clocked in 28-3. In front of the stands for the first time, it's Wakeshire Willow and Jeff Fout leading the way at 5-2. Wakeshire Willow's on top, a length and a half. Perfect Model is in the pocket second, 2 farther back to San My Sage in third. Noble Land Sarah along the rail is fourth. Bunny Wabbit is fifth. She Deals 2 is sixth. Then it's 3 lengths farther back to the spread out trailing trio of Brazen Brenda, Serena Falcon, and Lady Bedard. Single file as they round the turn on their way to the half-mile pole, with Wakeshire Willow leading the way in 58-4. Rounding the turn into the backstretch, Wakeshire Willow is on top, a length and a quarter. Perfect Model is second. There goes San My Sage, first over out of the 3-hole, giving cover to Bunny Wabbit, who's ranging up. Noble Land Sarah tightens down in fifth. 2 clear, She Deals 2. Then it's a gap of 3 farther back to Brazen Brenda to the inside of a struggling Serena Falcon, and Lady Bedard is last. 5/16 of a mile remaining as they head for the far turn. San My Sage leads 3/4 of a length and looks to lead. Wakeshire Willow behind in second. Bunny Wabbit is rallying 3 wide. Perfect Model is off the rail, followed by Noble Land Sarah, and She Deals 2 comes into contention. 1:28 and 4. Moving around to the top of the stretch, and it was a short-lived lead for San My Sage because Bunny Wabbit takes over as they turn into the lane. It's Bunny Wabbit and Harper leading it by a length and a half. Perfect Model is closing on the outside. San My Sage is still there at the rail, followed by She Deals 2. Bunny Wabbit is all out. Here's Perfect Model coming to her on the outside. It's Perfect Model getting up. Bunny Wabbit to go second. She Deals 2 was third. Perfect Model, Todd Jones. That's a double for Todd Jones. This time he scores with Dan Russo's Perfect Model in 1:57 and 3. A 7-year-old brown mare by Noble Land Sam at a win by Royce. It's her second straight win. Perfect Model is trained by Brian Brown. Here's a look at the field. Number 1 is CJ's Quiet Storm, owned by Near Dylan Beatty. Dean Gillespie drives. The 2 is April Graham, owned by Richard and David Finfrock with Jack Daly. Number 3 is She's a Rough One, owned by Rebecca Ewing with Jeff Fount. From Post 4, it's Lady Tiger. Kane Kaufman drives for William Webb. Number 5, Fritzy Pickpocket, owned by Fritz and McHenry, Jim Daly. 6 is Charles Autry's Pan's Peanut Butter and Darren Mauser. And the 7 is Grandma Gordy, owned by Dean Davis with Kurt Sugg. Post time for the 10th in less than 4 minutes. In the backstretch, and there they go. And they're off. CJ's Quiet Storm lagged off the gate, spots the field about 4 lengths. It's Grandma Gordy from the outside who grabs the early control. Pan's Peanut Butter is there, and now Pan's Peanut Butter goes off stride. So April Graham moves into second. Then we come to She's a Rough One in third. It's a gap of 2 to Lady Tiger in fourth position, 2 more to Fritzy Pickpocket, 3 more to CJ's Quiet Storm, and back pacing but trailing the field is Pan's Peanut Butter as they race to the opening quarter. And it's Grandma Gordy on the lead, 28 and 1, passing the stands for the first time. Grandma Gordy leads by a length and a quarter, closely tracked by April Graham in the pocket second. She's a Rough One under a strong hold is third. Length and a half back, Lady Tiger races in fourth, just in front of Fritzy Pickpocket. Then it's CJ's Quiet Storm, and Pan's Peanut Butter has caught the field, but trails 10 off the pace. And that pace is being set by Grandma Gordy. Grandma Gordy, unchallenged on the lead, is on top by a length and a quarter as they round the clubhouse turn. From the inside, April Graham is second, followed by She's a Rough One third. Lady Tiger and Kane Kaufman come to the outside in fourth. They'll give cover to Fritzy Pickpocket in fifth. 3 more to CJ's Quiet Storm, and Pan's Peanut Butter, 58 and 3. So she's going to try to lock them down and come home strong to win it again. 3/8 of a mile remaining, and Grandma Gordy is on the lead. Grandma Gordy a length and a quarter. April Graham is second. Outside Lady Tiger is a length and a half off the pace, first over in third. From the rail, She's a Rough One is racing in fourth. Fritzy Pickpocket is second over in the cover flow, and 5 back to the struggling trailers, Pan's Peanut Butter and CJ's Quiet Storm, 127 and 3. Moving around to head stretch. And it's Grandma Gordy on the lead a length and a quarter. April Graham is just in behind. Lady Tiger is trying to hold her ground, and She's a Rough One is third back at the rail as they turn into the stretch. And this one is Grandma Gordy leading it by a length. Here comes April Graham down along the inside. Lady Tiger, She's a Rough One way down the rail. Grandma Gordy's all out. Here's April Graham, but Grandma Gordy had something in reserve and wins it a length. April Graham and Lady Tiger, 156 and 1. Grandma Gordy back to the winner's circle. It's her third win this season, 156 and 1. She's a 5-year-old bay mare by Towner's Big Guy out of Amazing Sabra by Barbary Spur. Owned by Dean Davis, trained by Kurt Sugg, and Kurt Sugg is the winning driver. Number 1 is Sage Sabra, owned by Jerome Grogan with Chip Noble, the driver. The 2 is Luann Malone, owned by John DeBoard with Jim Daly. 3 is Go By Air, Frenchie Fuller owns, Kane Kaufman drives. 4 is Ivory's Idol, owned by Michael Etter with Del S. Miller. 5, Amazon Sabra, owned by Beverly Bushelman, Dave Hawk on the bike. 6 is M's Brass Ring, owned by Kelly Phillips with Greg Grismore. 7, Cincy Kathy G is owned by Tom Price, Jack Daly on the bike. From post 8, it's Towner's Real Lady, owned by Ken Charles with Jeff Fount. And number 9 is Come On Wild Angel, owned by Jerry Summers with Jamie Dunlap, 4 minutes. All set for the start of tonight's 11th race. And they're off. Very even beginning. From 3 wide, Ivory's Idol is out quickly for the lead. Sage Sabra from the rail. Go By Air comes away in 3rd position, looks to tuck in. Luann Malone is racing in 4th to the inside of Come On Wild Angel, who looks to drop in as well. Next in line, we have Amazing Amazon Sabra, M's Brass Ring, Cincy Kathy G, and Towner's Real Lady as they move to head stretch. Leading the way, up top, it's Ivory's Idol and Del S. Miller. They're on top by 2.5 lengths past the opening quarter in 28-3. In front of the stands for the first time, it's Ivory's Idol under a hold, leads it by 1.5 lengths. Here comes Amazon Sabra with a rush on the outside to take over. Sage Sabra is gapped at the rail in 3rd, just in front of Go By Air 4th. M's Brass Ring comes to the outside 5th. Cincy Kathy G will follow that cover. Then it's Luann Malone, Towner's Real Lady, and Come On Wild Angel is last. Racing around the turn on their way to halftime. Leading the way, it's Amazon Sabra. Amazon Sabra, the favorite, is in control here as they pass the half in 58-3. Rounding the turn into the backstretch, Amazon Sabra 1.5 lengths clear of Ivory's Idol, who's back in the pocket racing 2nd. First over the long mile for M's Brass Ring on the outside 3rd. Sage Sabra along the inside is hemmed in, 3 off the lead in 4th. Second over Cincy Kathy G races 5th. 2 back to the pair of Go By Air. Towner's Real Lady is up alongside. And then we come to Come On Wild Angel, and Luann Malone trails at the rail as they approach the 3 quarters. Leading the way, it's Amazon Sabra in 1:28-2. Moving around to the top of the stretch, and Hawk lets Amazon Sabra out a notch, and she leads it by 2.5 now. Ivory's Idol looks to reclaim 2nd as M's Brass Ring struggles on the outside 3rd. Then it's Sage Sabra, Cincy Kathy G, and a belated rally by Come On Wild Angel. They're in the stretch. Amazon Sabra, under urging, leads it by 3.5 lengths. They're all chasing her for 2nd. Ivory's Idol, M's Brass Ring, late rush Come On Wild Angel, but it's Amazon Sabra in front. Come On Wild Angel up 2nd. M's Brass Ring was 3rd. Back to the winner's circle, Amazon Sabra, 6-year-old bay mare by Towner's Big Guy out of Amazing Sabra by Barbary Spur, owned by Beverly Bushelman, trained by Darrell Collins, and driven to victory by Dave Hawk in 1:57-1. Sage Sabra was 5th, Luann Malone was 8th, Go By Air 9th. Ivory's Idol was 4th, Amazon Sabra the winner. M's Brass Ring was 3rd, Cincy Kathy G was 6th, Towner's Real Lady 7th, and Come On Wild Angel was 2nd. From the top, 5, 8, 9, 4, 1, 3, 6, 7, 2. Upcoming 12th race, the 9 George's Gypsy Rose is scratched. It's stamped out in your program.
Off the rail, the 1 is Quartzville Cutie by Robert and Gail Empson of Cedarville, Ohio, trained by Gail Empson, the K-Man. Kane Kaufman, the driver. Number 2 is In the Money Bunny by Mike Metters. Tina Sudermeister of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, trained by Mike Metters. JD Jimmy Dunlap up. Number 3 is Queen of Tucson by Janice Stryker of Port William, Ohio, trained by Earl Stryker, Sam Chipnoble III. Number 4 is Megan's Marvel by Harla Renee Kahn of Martin, Kentucky, trained by Jeff Brewer. Elliot Deaton is up. Number 5 is Mapleview Oprah by Constance Messler of Dayton, Ohio, trained and driven by Tony Rose. Number 6 is Margarita Dactry by Ora Murphy Sr. of Salina, Ohio, trained by Roy Murphy Jr. Bob Harper is up. The 7 is Patty Lace by Baldoff of Akron, Ohio, and Catherine Ann Hawk of Orient, Ohio, trained by Lloyd Hawk. Dave Hawk is up. The 8 is Sheriff's Example by Kenneth Brooks of Carroll, Ohio, trained by Delvin Criswell. Greg Grismore, the driver. The 9 is Alton, scoring from off the second tier is the 10, Ashley's Penny by Ronald Breckler of Mount Vernon, Ohio, trained by Randy Owens. Jeff Fount is in her sulky. That's the field for the 12. They're off and pacing and firing out for the lead. Middle of the racetrack, there goes the 5, Mapleview Oprah. Right alongside for the more to the outside is Margarita Dacry. as they roll down the backside nearing the opening quarter. A scramble for the lead here. We've got 4 of them across the track. Courtsville Cutie from the inside leads the parade past the 8th. Middle of the racetrack, that's Mapleview Oprah up on the outside, racing 3rd. That is Margarita Daiquiri. Cut on the outside, racing 4th, that's In the Money Bunny. 5th at the rail, that's Queen of Tucson. Racing 6th is Patty Lace. 7th here is Ashley's Penny. 8th along the rail here, that is Megan's Marvel. And 9th and trailing the field as they trip the opening quarter-mile beam in 28 seconds flat. And that is Sherby's Example. Passing the stand for the first time, heading on down to the half, and Courtsville Cutie, the K-Man, leads them under the wire with 5/8 to go. And on top of the field, Courtsville Cutie leads the way here, down along the inside. Mapleview Oprah's Garden Spot Bound racing in 2nd. Margarita Daiquiri racing 3rd. In the Money Bunny, she's been parked every step of the mile. She's still there, still 4th on the outside as they roll around the clubhouse turn. They're at the halfway mile mark of the race. Halfway home, 57 3/5. Out of the turn and down the backside they go, nearing the 3/4 mile mark of the race. And Courtsville Cutie calling the shots here. In the Money Bunny is ranging up alongside in 2nd. Perfect trip here. Racing 3rd along the rail, that's Mapleview Oprah. 2nd over on the outside, poised to strike 3 wide. That's the 7, Patty Lace. Racing in 4th. 3rd over there, that's Ashley's Penny. Racing 5th. And 6th along the rail here, that is Margarita Daiquiri. 7 to the outside, that's Megan's Marvel as they roll to the 3/4 mile mark of the race. And 8th along the rail, that's Queen of Tucson. And 9th and trailing the field, Sherby's Example. 3/4, 127 4/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. On the outside, In the Money Bunny. She's won a big mile tonight. She sticks ahead in front. Courtsville Cutie is trying to battle back in 2nd. Swinging up 3 wide to the outside. Here comes Ashley's Penny with less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. Courtsville Cutie is under siege. But to the outside, here comes Ashley's Penny. And Ashley's Penny is surging by. Outside, Megan's Marvel way out wide, shaking hands with the fans. But as they come to the wire, Ashley's Penny gets up to win it. Finishing 2nd here will be the 5, Mapleview Oprah. Photo for show between the 2, In the Money Bunny, and the 4, Megan's Marvel. Time of the mile, 1:57. A 5-year-old bay mare by Armada out of a Summerella. She by Jaguar Spur, owned by Ronald Breckler of Mount Vernon, Ohio. Trained by Randy Owens. Jeff Fount, the winning driver here this evening. Posting the 4th win of the 2001 campaign, home in a 1:57 3/5. Number 10, Ashley's Penny, the race winner. 10-5 exacta returns $39. 10-5 4 try returns $557.40. $557.40 for a $2 ticket. Pace of 1 mile from off the rail. The 1 is Ira's Lucky Lady by Ira Kreitzer of West Alexandria, Ohio. Trained by Ira Kreitzer. Sam Chipnoble the 3rd is up. Number 2 is Melissa Monroe, owned, trained, and driven by Tom Hall of Mount Vernon, Ohio. Number 3 is Run for the Gold by Terrell of Cincinnati, Ohio, and Clark of Centerville, Ohio, trained and driven by Darren Mauser. Number 4 is Tickle Me Wick by Stephen Watkins of Sydney, Ohio, trained by Dan McCulloch with Bob Harper up. The 5 is Sun Sam's Filly by Michael Ray West of Louisville, Kentucky, trained by Jeff Brewer. Elliott Deaton is at the lines. Number 6 is Scootin' Cloud by Dennis Hertz of Columbus, Ohio, trained by Leo Groves. Greg Grismore is up. Number 7 is Favorite Madam, owned and trained by Ron Barker of Chillicothe, Ohio. Dave Hawk is the driver. Number 8 is Rivulet Hanover by William Montier of Sidney, Ohio, trained and driven by the K-Man, Kane Kaufman. From the outside of the 9 is Ancient Queen by Joan and Melissa Burns of Milford Center, Ohio, trained and driven by Roy Burns. And scoring from off the 2nd tier is the 10, Just Another Sam by Tom Price and Stuart Bolander. They're both of the Buckeye State, trained by James Price. Jack Daly is in her sulky. Then final from Scioto Downs. They're off and pacing and firing from the outside. There goes Rivulet Hanover, and Rivulet Hanover is headed straight for command here. From the inside, Ira's Lucky Lady, middle of the racetrack. That's the 7, Favorite Madam. Alongside her, as they roll around the first turn and over to the opening quarter, that's Rivulet Hanover. As they roll around the first turn and on top of the field, Favorite Madam now clear to the front. To the outside, Rivulet Hanover is trying to press on to the front here. Ira's Lucky Lady is at the rail, racing in 3rd. As they roll to the opening quarter-mile mark of the race, along the rail, Just Another Sam has come away nicely in 4th. 5th to the outside here, that's Sun Sam's Filly. Opening panel in 28 1/5. And Rivulet Hanover now clears off, takes the lead, but right back to the outside. Here's the 7, Favorite Madam, and David Hawk to take command. 3 wide there. That's a scramble as they go under the wire with 5/8 remaining. That is Sun Sam's Filly, who tipped out 3 wide. A rough-gated Ira's Lucky Lady as they roll around the clubhouse turn and head to the halfway mile mark of the race and on top of the field. Favorite Madam leads the way here. Rivulet Hanover, Garden Spot Trip is racing in 2nd. Up on the outside, racing third, that's Sun Sam's filly. Along the rail, racing fourth, that's Just Another Sam. They're at the halfway home, 58 4/5. Out of the turn and down the backside they go, nearing the 3/4 mile mark of the race and on top of the field. Favorite Madam calling the shots here. Rivulet, Hanover, Garden Spot is racing second. Third up on the outside, that's Sun Sam's filly. Now swinging out 3 wide, that's Ira's Lucky Lady. That's racing fourth. Fifth along the rail, Just Another Sam. Sixth to the outside, that's Scootin' Cloud. Seventh, that is Run for the Gold. Eighth is Melissa Monroe. Ninth here, that is Tickle Me Wick. And 10th and trailing the field, Ancient Queen. They're at the 3/4 mile mark of the race. 3/4 in 1:28 4. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. Backside, 30 seconds flat and up to the outside. Ira's Lucky Lady is now clearing off, trying to take the lead here. Middle of the racetrack, that's the 5, Sun Sands filly. Buried at the rail here, racing third. That's the 7 as they turn for home with a little less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come, driving through the lane. Ira's Lucky Lady now takes the lead. Pacers coming from everywhere. Middle of the racetrack, Sun Sands filly up on the outside. Here comes the 3, Run for Gold as they come to the wire. It's going to be Ira's Lucky Lady getting up to win it. Tab of the mile, 1:59 flat. Photo for place and show. Now making her way trackside of the winner's circle. Here's the official winner of the 13th and final race. Number 1, Ira's Lucky Lady, a 5-year-old bay mare by Noble Lion Sam, out of an Ira's Girl. She by Umbro Roger, owned and trained by Ira Kreitzer of West Alexandria, Ohio, posting the second win of the 2001 campaign. Home at a mile and 1:59 flat. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Sam Chip Noble III.